The lecture hall fell silent as Arya entered, her footsteps echoing against the polished metal floor. Two small forms clung to her shoulders, Tar on the left, Lynn on the right, their amber eyes scanning the assembled students with predatory curiosity. The Galactic Council's finest cadets, representing 17 different species, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Good morning," Arya said, her voice calm and measured. She moved to the center of the platform, seemingly unbothered by the weight on her shoulders. "Today we discuss survival protocols in hostile environments." A Vraxian student, his crystalline exoskeleton clicking nervously, raised a manipulator appendage. "Instructor Arya, with respect. Are those creatures safe?" Tar's ears twitched. Lynn yawned, displaying rows of needle-sharp teeth. Arya smiled. "Safe is a relative term, Cadet Zexthor. Tar and Lynn are controlled. There's a difference." She reached up, scratching behind Tar's ear. The cub leaned into her touch, purring, a sound that made several students flinch. Fear and respect often occupy the same space. Learning to distinguish between them is your first lesson today. The cubs had arrived on the station 3 cycles ago, rescued from a dying world in Sector 47. No one knew their species' name. The xenobiologists were still arguing about classification. What everyone did know was that they were apex predators even as juveniles. Their claws could tear through standard body armor. Their reflexes operated on a timescale that made most species look sluggish. And yet here they sat, perched on a human's shoulders like domesticated pets. "Humans are classified as persistence predators," Arya continued, pulling up a holographic display. "We evolved to outlast our prey, to track them across impossible distances, to adapt to any environment." She gestured to the cubs. Tar and Lynn's ancestors were ambush predators, fast, deadly, efficient. Completely different hunting strategies. "Then how do you—" a Pelthian student started, her translator struggling with the concept. "How do you make them listen?" Arya walked between the rows of seats, Tar and Lynn adjusting their balance with each step. "I don't make them do anything. That's the misconception most species have about humans and predators. You see dominance where there's actually partnership." She stopped at a weapons locker embedded in the wall. With a smooth motion, she retrieved a training blade, dulled but still lethal in the wrong hands. The class tensed. Tar and Lynn's pupils dilated, tracking the metal's movement. "Watch carefully," Arya said. She tossed the blade across the room. It spun end over end, catching the station's artificial light. Lynn launched from Arya's shoulder, a blur of muscle and fur, snatching the blade from the air with precision that defied physics. The cub landed on a desk, dropped the weapon, and looked back at Arya expectantly. "Good girl," Arya said softly. Lynn's tail swished with pleasure. "That's impossible," breathed a Koltari observer from the back. "The reaction time alone is well within human visual processing capability," Arya interrupted. "I saw the trajectory. Lynn saw me see it. We've trained together long enough that she understands my intent before I fully commit to the action." She whistled, a sharp ascending note. Lynn bounded back to her shoulder, settling into place as if she'd never left. Arya returned to the front of the class. "Most species in the Galactic Council evolved past their predatory instincts millions of years ago. You developed technology, society, philosophy. You became civilized," she emphasized the word carefully. "Humans did all of that too. But we never forgot what we were." Tar shifted, nuzzling against Arya's neck. She absently stroked his fur while continuing the lecture. "When the Zrathi invaded the outer colonies, Command sent peacekeepers, your best soldiers, trained in protocol and proper engagement rules. They lost 4 worlds in 6 weeks." Arya pulled up battle footage. "Then they sent humans. The hologram showed chaos, fire and smoke, screaming and violence. But within the chaos, patterns emerged. Human soldiers moving in coordinated groups, adapting to terrain, using the environment as a weapon. And beside them, with them, creatures from 100 different worlds. Predators that should have been enemies working in concert with their human handlers. We retook those worlds in 9 days," Arya said quietly. "Not because humans are better soldiers, but because we understand something the rest of the galaxy has forgotten. Predators recognize each other. We speak a language older than words." She gestured to Tar and Lynn. "When I found them, they were starving, alone, terrified. Every instinct told them to attack, to defend, to survive at any cost. But I didn't treat them as beasts. I treated them as equals. Her eyes swept across the assembled cadets. That's what makes humans dangerous. We don't see enemies or tools. We see potential allies. A long silence filled the hall. Finally, Zexathor spoke again, his voice uncertain. But what if they turn on you? What if their instincts overcome their training? Arya smiled, not with arrogance, but with understanding. Then I failed them, not the other way around. Trust isn't a leash, cadet. It's a promise. She reached up and both cubs pressed their heads into her palms. Tar and Lynn stay with me because they choose to. Every single day they make that choice, just as I choose to trust them. She walked to the window overlooking the station's docking bay. Ships from across the galaxy hung in the void like jeweled ornaments. The universe is full of predators. Most of you evolved to fear them, to avoid them, to build walls between yourselves and the dark. Arya turned back to her students, silhouetted against the stars. Humans evolved to walk into that darkness and make it ours. Tar and Lynn chirped in unison, a sound of contentment, of belonging. Class dismissed, Arya said. Next session we cover close quarters combat. I recommend you get comfortable with discomfort. Because wherever humans go, predators follow. As the students filed out, casting nervous glances at the cubs, Arya remained by the window. Tar nibbled playfully at her ear. Lynn kneaded her shoulder, claws carefully retracted. In the vastness of space, humanity had proven one undeniable truth. The most dangerous predator wasn't the one with the sharpest teeth or fastest reflexes. It was the one that could teach others to hunt beside them.